Good morning, St. Louis. It is 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, so y'all know what time it is. It's time for the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with your boy Cortez Hustle, my girl Michelle. Hey,
Hey,
and man, do we have a wonderful show lined up for you guys today. We've got um, Missouri State Representative candidate Pamela Paul with us today to talk about her run and her platform and things that she's going to do for this city. So I can't wait to have this conversation. But in the meantime, I need y'all to do me a huge favor. I need y'all to comment in the chat where you're from. I need you to drop the name of your business and or your brand. And I need you to smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with your boy Cortez Hustle, my girl Michelle A. Coming to you live and direct from the Local Biz Marketing Pro Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are a small local business and you are trying to optimize your online presence, you need to get at this team. This team is amazing at helping small local businesses increase their online presence and their lead flow so that they can grow their revenue and ultimately expand their businesses and contribute more to the community, because we know shopping local matters, but sometimes we are so enamored and bombarded with the marketing efforts of the big businesses that's where we tend to go to. So I've made it my life's mission to help small local businesses compete on a bigger scale so that we can get more of those local dollars, because it is the small businesses, y'all, that are more likely to contribute to your son or your daughter's Little League program. It's the small businesses that's more likely to open their doors in the event that we have a citywide catastrophe or something. So we need to show them love and be intentional with our dollars. So Local Biz Marketing Pros wants to help them do more to expand their online reach. And if you are interested, we do have a free online marketing checklist. We'll put a link in the comments and in the show notes for you guys to check that out. So Shelly, how was your weekend?
man. The weekend was Juneteenth-tastic.
Love it.
Is a word. Like did you see what I did there? Did you see? Okay. Yes, the weekend was Juneteenth-tastic. So many things are going on around the St. Louis area. We gave you some of those highlights last weekend. So if you didn't get out and take advantage of the wonderfulness that was going on in your city for Juneteenth, shame on you.
Yeah.
I got out and I was in the community, which is what I love to do. I was kicking it with my people over at Influence, and we were in the wonderful city of Bell Fountain, which is where our North County location is located. And they had a nice Juneteenth celebration over at, I don't know, I'm gonna call it Bell Fountain Park. It's the park on Bell Fountain Road. There we go. Yeah. And it was so neat because they had several speakers. And then they also had like a band to kind of play in between, and the band, like straight drums, guitar, keyboard, all high school students, right?
Oh,
all young adults, high school students, and the singers, high school students, young, like either first year college student, high school students. Fantastic event. They had a couple singers that were a little older, but wasn't nobody over 25 on the doggone stage. I was like, well, look at all the young people. It was just amazing, but it showed their skill, because a young lady got up there and sang. She was a guest singer that they, kind of a la carte her, and she got there and sang Stevie Wonder. What is it? I wish those days would come back. She sang that song, but she sang it a cappella, and so they was trying. But here's the thing. Once you get your rhythm, the rhythm comes from your drummer.
Right.
Once the drummer picked up the rhythm, the keyboardist was able to kind of hop in there. They pulled it out. They played by ear and picked up to the rhythm of what. It was great. It was great. We were down there because we have a food initiative for the city of Bell Fountain, where we will be feeding children actually at the Influence location. We're doing dine-in kind of service for the children. So we're setting up tents, tables, chairs outside on the parking lot, and your kids in that neighborhood, or really if you want to bring them in from somewhere else, but the kids in that neighborhood can either get dropped off, or parents can bring them down, or they can walk down, but they can get a hot meal, breakfast and lunch, right there on the premises. We're going to do an activity with them. We're going to create a whole lot of food and fun and all of that. So we were out trying to get kids registered for that, which we did. So shout out to all the parents that signed their kids up for that. Highlight, I'm gonna hit my 2 highlights and we're gonna move on. 2 highlights was we had a table set up and lots of vendors and everything were down there. We were right next to the Boeing vendor table. And they were just promoting some of the community things that they were doing. And you know what? It's a certain kind of smell. They asked me to take a picture of them. Hey, can you please, excuse me, ma'am, can you take a group photo of us? Man, I learned that you smile a certain kind of way when you work for Boeing. Because when I tell you, it was so much cheese on that picture, I was like, y'all just smile different. Is this how money smile? Because y'all just smile different. It was amazing. Wow. And then I had a chance to link up with three fine officers from Bell Fountain Police. Y'all know Shelley love the cops. And so these cops, they were super friendly. I wish I remembered their names, but I can't. But they offer to partner with us in the community when they are, on calls and such, and they see children in certain situations where they might be food, where there might be food insecurities. They say, hey, we want to partner with you in that. And y'all know my history. I love to talk to the police because I don't have warrants. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So that pretty much was my Juneteenth weekend. How was yours, sir? Congratulations on graduating. Tell us all about it.
Thank you. So I spent Juneteenth in Kansas City. Starting on last Wednesday, we hit the road late in the evening, and one of my mentors, Dr. Danetta Watson, has an organization called the Black Mastermind Group and also the Business Mastery Institute, where she kicked my butt for 8 straight weeks on what it really means to run a business that is profitable, sustainable, scalable, but most of all, fundable. She taught me how to run my business by the numbers and present those numbers to investors and lenders so that my numbers tell the story of my business. And that is one of the reasons that we struggle in hiring our own people and also creating legacy businesses. You guys know that in this country, there's less than 10 businesses that are Black owned that are more than 50 years old. We don't have those legacy, you see those centennial celebrations for some of these companies celebrating 100 years. We don't have a lot of those because we don't build businesses that are scalable, sustainable, profitable, and fundable, because you can't run your business with your own money. So we had our graduation ceremony and what she called the Summit of the Black Masterminds, where students from all over the country came and got recognized for our hard work. Dr. George Fraser was a keynote speaker. Dr. Ruben West was a speaker. The Upgraders also spoke, and it was just an amazing opportunity that was very spirit-led, because this is a Christian organization dedicated to Black entrepreneurs. So it was amazing. My sugar got to go with me, and she hung out with me for a couple of the days, but more importantly, she got to kick back and do nothing.
Absolutely awesome.
We joked around that because she wasn't in the proximity, because she's got a habit of dropping what she's doing and going to serve people, because that's what she does. She just serves people. But you're in Kansas City, so you can't just get up and run and go serve nobody. Keep your tail down and relax. She got a lot of quiet time in her devotional, and really just got to chill and rejuvenate, because we're about to go on a run that I need her at full capacity. So I didn't drag her to all the events in Kansas City. I wanted her to rest because this 7-figure run with this digital marketing agency is going to require everything that she has, everything that I have, and everything that everybody that's connected to me have, including you, Miss Lady. So it's about to go down. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So
digging deep, I'm expanding.
To all of my Business Mastery Institute graduates and the entire organization over at the Black Business
That's so cool.
Mastermind Group and Dr. Danetta Watson. She pulled it off, a 4-day event, right? It was from start to finish. That thing rocked and rolled the whole way through. So we're excited.
That's so cool.
And as you can tell, I wore myself out. My voice is almost gone. I'm being attacked by a cold trying to come down. And so nevertheless, we are here. So we're going to go ahead and introduce our guest before Michelle does her word of the day, because I'm so excited to, as you guys know, this show is all about all things St. Louis. And this lady is a friend of the show. She's been with us a couple times before, talking about making an impact and transforming our community. And one of the ways that you can do that is through the political realm. And she is now making a bid for Missouri State Representative. So I'm going to introduce some of you guys and present to others. This is Pamela Paul. Good
morning. Good morning.
How are you, Pam?
All is well. All is well. I enjoy Juneteenth celebration as well. And just a note, my sister is Miss Juneteenth. She won the crown. She's in Indianapolis and she is the reigning queen. Wow.
All right. Come on, sis.
Well, before we get into who you are and what you're doing in this amazing city of ours, Michelle likes to talk to the people with a segment that we call the word of the day. So let's get into Michelle A's word of the day, and we're going to let her Australian boyfriend introduce her. So
where you at? Aussie.
And now the Michelle A word of the day.
Hey, what's up, party people? It's your girl, Michelle A. Okay, all right, that's what we're doing. I got a little phone call going on, because you know what? Answer the call. It's real this morning. It's real. Okay. Your Michelle A word of the day. I am so excited about this word. Man, I'm telling you guys, I'm trying to dig deeper so I can bring you guys that's going to hit you and knock you over like I be getting hit and knocked over. So I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you to kind of ponder it a little bit. Are you doing too much? Or as my kids say, Mama, oh my goodness, you do the most. Oh my God. How do you know if you're doing too much? You know, sometimes, you know, this, all right, well, not sometimes, but you should know the story in the Bible about Martha and Mary, right? When Jesus came, Mary was like, I'm gonna have a seat right here. Martha was running around doing this and doing that, busy working. Then she got mad at Mary and Jesus. How you get mad at the Savior? I don't know, but she did that thing. And she said, you don't even care. I'm over here working and slaving and doing stuff, and she just sitting there and sitting and doing nothing. And Jesus was like, she doing what she's supposed to be doing. All right. So I got for you just a couple things, just a self-check, right? Because here's the thing. If the devil cannot take you out, his next step is to take you down, right? Meaning if he cannot distract your mind to be a bad person or to do those things that might be considered, you know, out of the will of God, being bad, he gonna keep you wrapped up and busy. If he can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. You don't want either one, right? So here's some ways, real quick, just for you to know, am I doing too much? Am I doing too much? All right, so I'm gonna try to hit them real quick. If you are excessively irritable, you're doing too much. If you have hypersensitivity, you're doing too much. If you have restlessness, you can't sleep at night, yeah, that whole thing, you're doing too much. Okay, if you're a workaholic, hustle, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Sorry, Cortez. If you have emotional numbness, if you feel like your priorities, they all out of sync, you're out of order, you're doing too much. You got a lack of bodily care. You ain't exercising and taking care of your temple. I'm working on it. You're doing too much. If you are in isolation, I'm so busy, I got to be over here by myself because I'm in the busyness. You're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? So let's today do a self-check, clear our hearts and minds, clear our little spiritual palates and say, Lord, help me know what are the fruitful things I should be doing for you, and what are the busy things? So get out of the weeds, get up above aerial so you can soar high, and in that way, you know, you will not be doing the most. That's your Michelle A. Word of the day, people. Hope it blesses you.
Ooh-wee, blessing indeed. If he can't make you bad, he'll make you busy.
Man.
Wow, man. Keep
He will
you
do
distracted, ladies and gentlemen. So, Pastor Pam, do you want to weigh in on the word of the day before we officially introduce you and why you're here? Oh, wait a minute. Let me get you.
See, you know, I've certainly been guilty of that before, being extra busy, doing a lot of extra things that kind of aren't important. You know how you have a meeting about a meeting, about a meeting, about a meeting. And, you know, so finally
And the
I
only
started
thing that
telling
comes
people
out of that meeting is another meeting.
another meeting.
We got to meet again.
I can't do it. I told my friends, I'm not having meetings about meetings. I'm sorry, you know. And, you know, you just have to find a way to balance yourself and do those things that are important. That's what I know. If I can be found doing what I believe I'm supposed to be doing and being effective with that, all of the rest of that stuff, I'll leave it up to the others.
There
Love
it
it,
is.
love it,
There
love
it
it.
is.
So, Pastor Van, you've been on the platform before, and you know that we all like to start the show with a question, and I'm going to ask it to you again. And that question is this: who the heck are you?
Well, let's see. I'm a friend of the show. How about that? Boom, nailed it. But I am Pastor Pamela Paul, right? And so I will tell you that first of all of the things that I am a pastor, I am a mom, and I am an overdose educator. I'm a Narcan distributor. I'm a life coach. I'm a community engagement specialist, and I was an early education teacher for 20 years, and I was an advocate for parents and their children. And so this is who I am. And when I say that I'm a pastor, I always like to tell people sometimes they think that means you have a halo on your head. But no, I don't have an halo. It just simply means that there's a room full of people, and I should be the biggest servant in that room. And so that is how I carry myself. And that's who I am.
Love it, love it, love it. So we are here today, particularly excited for you because out of all the things that you have been doing in the and around the St. Louis community to serve the people in this community to bring about change, you have recently decided that the next step in the evolution of Pastor Paul, Pamela Paul, to help affect change more effectively is to throw your hat in this ring of politics. So how did that decision come about that you were going to get into politics in this way? Because you've always been supporting some of the local politicians and all of those things, but now you are becoming one. So how did you come to that conclusion, that decision?
Well, I can tell you, the long story but short of it is I was 8 years old riding down the street with my grandfather and my aunt, right? And I told my granddad, I said, Daddy, I want to be the president. He was like, girl, why do you want to do that? I said, because I do. I want to be the president. He said, well, I'm going to tell you. And remember, my grandfather was born in 1925, right? That was a different time. He said, well, first of all, you're Black. And second of all, you're a woman. So you're not going to ever be able to do that. And I said, oh, man, I guess I'll never be able to do that. So that dashed my dreams, right? And I just kept living life and going on. And from time to time, thoughts of serving people in a greater way, because that's what I saw that job as, that you're going to serve all of these people and you're going to help them to, you know, get the things that they need. I didn't understand all about it then, but I knew I wanted to help people more than anything else. So as I got older, I thought, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to navigate this because life was happening, right? And I wasn't thinking about being a president. Of course, at that time, I thought about just being an advocate, a strong advocate to help people. And I grew up with powerful women in my neighborhood, like Hazel Irby, you know, and Betty Thompson. Those are, you know, Betty Thompson was our PTA president, you know. So I saw these examples around me and I wanted to help. So life happened and those things didn't happen. all of a sudden it started coming back to me as I was doing my advocacy work, because I do, of course, I work with people with mental health challenges and people with substance use disorders, and I advocate for them all over the city, all over Missouri, from the Boot Hill to downtown St. Louis. I'm in there wherever I have to be. And so with the advocacy piece and the community engagement, then it's my job to look at people and assess based on what they tell me what they need in their lives, right? And so once they tell me that, then I look in their community and see if what they need is there. If it's not, I try to bring it there. If I can't bring it to them, then I take them to it. And so in doing that, I found that oftentimes there are obstacles that are in the way that you need to navigate. And the main way to get through them is through the politics of it all. You know, it could be something you need right next door to you, but because of some rule that somebody thought was cute that they made up, you don't have access to it. So those kinds of things kind of pushed me further in that direction. I felt like now is the time I can be more effective and hopefully be able to help people get the resources, bring humanity back to the conversations that we have every day, so that some sort of civility can come out of our contact with one another.
Love it, love it, love it. So you are making a bid for state representative. So help us understand, even me, I laugh and joke about my sons. I have sons that are 10 years apart. I have 5 of them. And I remember at one point I had a couple in high school, a couple in middle school, and a couple in elementary school, and they were all saying the same thing. And I'm like, oh, y'all, like you in high school and we still talking about American history and the colonies and all of that stuff. And now I'm sitting here with you and thinking about, I think I should pay a little bit better attention, because I don't know the job of a state representative, right? So understand what their job is and how you intend to do it differently.
Okay, well, the simple portion of it is a state representative is a person who creates, right, and votes on bills that make new laws or they modify the old ones. And that's what the state representative does. So that means you elect a person and you put them in that position so that they can work for you. So they're watching for laws that may be on the books that are outdated, things that are hindering the process in your community, and they fight and they advocate to get those things changed and moved. And they have to be able to reach out and garner support from others that are in that House of Representatives as well, so that you can push these things through, push the bills through, so that the bills can become laws. And that is the importance of the state representative.
I love it.
And now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the same way that I do when I deal with all of the aspects of who I am, right? I tell people that I didn't decide to do this and now I'm becoming this new person. No, this is who I am. I'm a person that believes in, first of all, humanity. And humanity is extremely important when we're living in a not just a cyber world. Everything is technological, right? Mm-hmm. And so people are so busy with their cell phones that often they don't even speak to one another. Sometimes I'll go in the nail shop, and when I'm sitting there and everybody's on their phone, I'll just say, "Hey, y'all," and just start talking to the people, you know. And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're all sitting in here together, but I don't know you. You don't know me. You know, let's chop it up a little bit." And people say, "Well, that's kind of simple," but we do need to return to some of the simple things because that's how we got here. And I believe that if we can build up, you know, more humanitarian exchanges between one another, then civility is going to come out of that. And none of us can deny that we've got a lot of stuff going on throughout Missouri, especially where I am in North County. There are a lot of new things. Sometimes you can't even drive down the road because people are cutting you off. You all experience that? Everybody's going 100 miles an hour in a 30 zone, you know, these kinds of things. And people are being killed because of the speeding and so on and so forth. So there, we want to, you know, add respect back in the conversation, because if I respect, Mr. Cortez, and I see him. And when I see him, I say, hey, Mr. Cortez. He says, hey, and then you recognize it. Now, when he's at the filling station and that same young man that recognized him from the community speaking to him or do whatever the thing is, then that young man, when he sees him at the filling station, instead of carjacking him or doing something else, when somebody looks and says, no, that's Mr. Cortez. He's always cutting the grass. He's always talking to. We have to start back engaging with one another. So I want to advocate that so that we can understand better what people need, try to help them meet those needs. And then I want to be able to help so that we can get some things on the books that are for us, for the people who need the representation. A lot of us are underserved, period, underprivileged, period. And right now, Missouri is receiving lots of money because of COVID. There's lots of money come to this city because of substance use disorders and mental health. And we have to make sure that the right people get in there so that it doesn't line people's pockets and send their children off to college, but instead it goes to the community and people can get the services that they need so that they can thrive, bring some jobs here and that sort of thing. I have, and I will let you ask me, but there are like several corporations, they want to come to North County. That's where I'm at. I'm in District 68 in North County, right? And so they want to come to North County. We have lots of space and all of that. But what they want to know is when they get here, will we be able to get people to take the jobs? And that's going to take some humanitarian efforts. It's going to take some reaching out. That's going to take some thinking outside of the box to encourage and inspire people, period, not just young people, to want to take jobs and begin to learn some things that maybe they don't know right now.
That's so awesome, Pamela. I just love when you stop by and visit us, because you bring forth such a truth and just such a, not just a truth, but the authenticity. When you speak about the things that you want to accomplish and the things that you're doing in the community, it's so amazing. It's so awesome. So I'm going to just put that little pin, because I love to give people their flowers. So flower for you. And number two, I want to know two more important questions for you. Number one, how you get over in the nail shop? And hey, y'all, I did that, got put out. Girl, them folks like, you go. You don't do that here. I just trying to get to I got put out when I tried to hey y'all everybody. So it must be your anointing. You got the hey y'all anointed. So bless God for that. I had to get you, but I was like, how you do that? I need to get my nails done with you. But then one of the I guess more serious questions that I wanted to ask is, with everything, there's so many different places that you could get started in your campaign, and so many different things going on. How do you decide what needs your attention first, or how will you decide? Or I guess you're in the process of, so how are you deciding what gets your attention first?
Well, I'll tell you something that came to me is ask people what they need. So every time I meet someone, the first thing I say to them is, I have two questions for you. If you could add something to this community, what would it be?
Nice.
If you can take something away from this community, what would that be? And that's where I've started, and that has been successful for me. It gives people an opportunity to get a little bit of their power back. It lets them know that It's not about me, it's about all of us. And when you ask people, believe it or not, you can ask. So far, I'll give an example. I could ask 100 people, and out of those 100 people, you're pretty much going to get the same 4 responses. They want better education for their children. They want to be able to live in a community where they feel safe and protected. Mm-hmm. They want to have adequate health care. It's the same for everybody, And then the surprising one for me is they want to have more opportunity to have community fellowships so that they can know their neighbors. Now, that was a surprise for me.
Wow, that's awesome. Just using, for example, Cortez, you might have to raise a hand to get in on this one because I'm off to the races. But just an example of all the stuff we had for Juneteenth, right? That was just so wonderful how community came together. And I know that there are many, many more opportunities. Shouldn't just be Juneteenth was a wonderful reason for us to come together, but we shouldn't have to just wait for opportunities like that for communities to get to know. I met the wonderful people of Bell Fountain I didn't really know before. I'm not directly in that community. I'm in North County, but not directly in Bell Fountain neighbors. But I had an opportunity to meet vendors and people, and it was a wonderful sharing experience. One question, just slightly moving to a different subject. And I'm looking at just the outline of some of the things that you wanted to do. And I see that one of the things that you wanted to do, as I just lost my notes, was that you wanted to, I could say it in layman's terms. I'm gonna say it my way. Maybe that's why I lost my notes. You want to affect traffic issues in our community, right? When we had Wesley Bell on a few months back, and his head of security, Captain Clay. I always talk about traffic issues because I am a former traffic issue person. I'm a person that formerly carried 14 different warrants from seven different municipalities, and never have I ever committed a felony, but I've been to jail 7 times on traffic issues. Because you get locked up, you get a ticket, you can't pay the ticket, your sales tax, when you buy a car, it's like you're penalized for getting something new by all of these taxes. And we talked about it in a show last year, criminalizing poverty. And so each time that I was pulled over and went through that embarrassing and traumatic process of being handcuffed and, leaving your car on the side of the road or getting in a high-speed chase. Sorry, no, but just that traumatic experience of going to jail, it was because I never had the money to pay for what I needed to pay for. What are some of the things that you can do or that you would like to do to change some of the traffic issues that we have here in the state of Missouri, some of those laws around that?
Well, one thing that has started happening, and it happens in other states now, and we're seeing a trend that when people purchase cars, that the taxes are already a part of it, and so that alleviates mostly all of that. And then there are some great things that have happened now and a lot of people don't know it. That's why, you see people riding around and they have tags from 2018. And you're like, I know good and well, I've been going riding around with taxes from 2018, right? But what now, if you have gone to get your inspection, if you're going to get your state inspection, your emissions inspection, and if you have spent money to make repairs and it still won't pass, then you can call the Department of Motor Vehicles, let them know what's happening, provide your information, and they'll send you a letter. And that letter says, this person is okay with us. They are in the process of trying to get that car to pass inspection.
Wow.
And I know because I used it before.
Okay, so I was gonna say, so does that letter, that's so new, and I think the people we're gonna talk about that. But does that then allow you to get your car registered in the meantime? Or does it just buy you
buys you time? So this is why you can see people, riding around with plates from last year or wherever, because if you go through that process, then they actually literally, you get this letter and it's very nice and it has everything in it. So you don't have to feel, criminalized because you're trying to, get your car registered. Everybody can't afford to do this. So you can't overhaul everything at one time. So it does buy you time and it keeps you from having to get those tickets and things like that, for sure. A big thing that for me, I kept thinking about getting cut off. I've been cut off on the road so many times, it's ridiculous. And I see others cutting people off. And one lady just told me the other day, she said she almost got driven off into a ditch because of the speed of people. I mean, they're rolling. And I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. So I said, how can we fix that? How can we, because, it really aggravates the person it's happening to, right? And so you want to, but you can't lay hands on people. You're like, what are they doing? It frustrates you, right? But as I was thinking about it, and I'm in the process of doing research and trying to develop that now, I thought about if we could create an app. And this app would allow you that when somebody does that, just lift your phone up toward that license plate, beep, and then information would come on there, right? And this would be a part of between us and the Department of Motor Vehicles. And you're going to put on there the make, model of that car, right? And then, of course, you have to add yours as well so that they'll know this isn't just a neighbor trying to be angry with somebody. And now Michelle A. have reported 2,000 people. Wait a minute,
Right.
You're not the real traffic police. But what'll happen is then you can write whatever that violation was, fill it in, boop, send it up. And after a person gets 3 of those, then a letter would be generated from the state and say, hey, your car was observed doing this. And so that would give us a sense of control. Like, you can't chase the person down. You don't want to engage them. But at the same time, you want to be safe. You want to be protected. You want your family to be safe and be protected and the other people on the road. And it will also allow a person to say, wait a minute, I need to slow down, because even though the police aren't out here, somebody's watching.
Man,
that is a fun, right? It's like, who are going? That is such a phenomenal. The speeding, Pastor Pam, the people are blatantly running red lights. You could be, the light is green for me, and here come this joker, boom. OMG, that is a phenomenal idea. That I want to get, I want to get involved in, and I need you to hold my feet to the fire, because that's I start praying, because I've seen people down, Lucas and Hunt, because I live right near Lucas and Hunt. They should not be, but they still, I've seen the young man drag race. They driving on the wrong side of the street at night, speeding down the windy road of Lucas and Hunt. That was just last year, a family that lost their life. They lost at least 2 adults and 2 children on that road last year, because someone was speeding and hit a minivan with a family in it and killed kids. And I'm not gonna say it's all young people, but I know when I've been passed up, if I could have got the license plate of somebody and that it needs to hold a weight, sending them jokers a letter, they're gonna be like, oh, what? Oh, but if they know that that's going to the Department of Motor Vehicles, and now you got something on them plates, you better switch them out and get some more, because them plates hot now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So Pastor Pam, I've got to talk about business, right? Because I'm here because my fellow entrepreneurs have charged me. Actually, I'm self-appointed. They ain't charged me with nothing. I charged myself with advocating for entrepreneurs. And when I was in Kansas City, a couple of things that were very interesting happened. Before I went, I saw a statistic that said St. Louis is the #1 best place for entrepreneurs to be in terms of resources. And I thought to myself, well, where are all these resources at? So that was the first thing. But then when I was in Kansas City, my mentor, Dr. Danetta Watson, talked about on multiple occasions, she's been one of a handful of Black people, especially Black females, on calls where high-ranking officials are deciding what they're going to do with millions and millions and millions of dollars that are set aside for our community, and no one from our community are on those calls to say what should be happening with the money. So talk about some of those calls and how we need to be getting representation on those calls, and if there's anything specific in your platform that you plan to do to help entrepreneurs locally because we're the ones who are going to create the jobs, but we need resources and access to all of that money that's being held up and being decided on by people that don't look like us. So can you speak to that real quick for us?
Definitely, 100%. There's a term that's used in recovery, nothing for us without us. And that is, so one of the things that we can do, and I certainly plan on doing it, and as I've told you, I've already started just asking people, what is it that you need? What is it that you think is going to, make something better? Or what are the challenges that you're having? And then we can do some research and figure out what can we do to change those things. I think having an open door policy, not just, oh, you can call me and you can email me, but you never call the people back. You never email the people back. You don't engage with them. You don't even address their issue. That type of politics is dead, and I don't think people are going to continue to stand for that. We need some changes, period. Changes that are going to bring people to the table. Well, we can't physically bring everybody in and say, come on into the House of Representatives, but that's how you get there. You put people in there that really have a mindset for the people, and that's part of being the community engagement specialist, because everything that I do advocates for others. I don't show up and advocate for me. I give you an example. I went to dinner yesterday, and I went to, I don't know where was I at? I was at a steakhouse. I don't want to advertise them. I was at a steakhouse. And so I went there, but I knew there were human beings in there, and I knew they would be there. So because I'm also an overdose educator and a Narcan distributor, I couldn't leave my Narcan in the car. So I brought it in with me, and I set it down beside me, and I was waiting on the opportunity. I didn't want to just necessarily bust into people's meal and jump up there talking and get on the nerves, but I was watching and waiting. I could see when people are wrapping up and getting ready to go. And as I was doing that, there was a family sitting here, and I was able to give it to them. And I just carried a few and left the box at the table with a friend of mine. And then I went to another table. Well, when I went to that lady and her husband and her little daughter, she said, what was your name? I said, oh, Pastor Pim. She said, I saw you. I saw you on the Zoom one day. This is you. You're really here. I'm like, yeah, I'm at dinner, and there are humans here. I have to engage with human beings. I'm not so busy trying to feed my face that I don't understand that there's something more important inside of that restaurant than me. The people are more important. And so that's the thing, finding a way to serve the people. But guess what happened while I was serving them? My friend's sister that was sitting at that table, when I came back, she said, girl, the waitress saw what was in the box, and she said, can she take some? And I told her, yeah, go on and take them. So it's about getting in the way and staying in the way. We have to find a way to prefer others over ourselves. And that's the problem that we've been having. Everyone's preferring themselves instead of preferring the people. A state representative means just that. You're supposed to be representing the people of that state. And that is the way I know for sure to get it done, is to get in, advocate for people, advocate for people, advocate for people. Don't come up with you ever worked on a job and, you're down here on the lower level, kind of entry level, and you're working and you're getting the job done. And then all of a sudden, one of the vice presidents comes up with an amazing idea, but it doesn't work for you all, but you still have to follow it. We don't want that. We want something that works for people, period.
Yeah, I love that. And that is critical, to get the people involved and get the people engaged. And one of the groups of people that we need to get involved and engaged is our young people. I think because of some of the stuff that you alluded to so far, that they've lost hope in the ability for the political process to bring the change that they want to see. So they're out there trying to make that change happen in other ways. And some things just can't happen without law on the books. So how do we engage those younger people in all walks of life, whether they're starting out their corporate journey, whether they're young entrepreneurs, whether they are young advocates. How do we engage them in this process, particularly the local election cycle, and get them engaged in knowing more about this process and the people that have been sent to represent them, whether they voted for these people or not? They should still know the people that are representing them. What are some ways that we can get that group of individuals engaged?
Very much so. I think that the key to that, again, it comes in with humanity. When Michelle said, you know, how in the world did you start talking in that nail shop like that? I get kicked out, you know, right? And so this isn't humor, but the thing is, it's the humanity piece. See, if I come in and I'm just talking about me, or, oh, honey, I'm so fancy, or I did this, or blah, blah, blah. Nobody's really, you know, be for real. Nobody wants to hear that. But if I can start engaging and say, so what school do your kids go to? And how, you know, and what have you seen? What have you noticed? These kinds of things. And with young people, especially, like you said, to bring them in from basically all walks of life, it goes back to humanity. If I can take time to listen to what they're saying, take time to share some kindnesses with them. I come from a place where we believe that the older are supposed to teach the younger, not that the older are supposed to look at the younger and say, oh, look at them, they're sagging. Oh, those children. Oh, no way. Well, what does that mean? I tell you, the other day, I'm not making, this is real. I can't make this stuff up. I'm talking to a young man. I saw him grow up in the community, right? But I don't see him often. But whenever I see him, I holler out his name. I'm like, what are you up to? What have you been doing? Oh, wow, this part is great. That is great. Well, what's happening with this? And then he's always asking me lots of questions. But he says to me, he said, you know what, Pastor Pam? He said, I still sell drugs. He said, I don't think I'm ever going to stop. I said, guess what? You will stop. I said, you're going to stop because there are other things that you can do. There are ways that you can make a decent living and you can still provide for your family, and drugs are no part of it. And you don't have to do something that is killing your neighbor, your brother and sister. You will stop. And I'm going to keep lifting you up in prayer. I'm going to keep checking in on you. And if you're in need of a job, call me. I got you. I'm going to connect you with somebody. So they need to know that we care, you know, and that they are valuable. He's still valuable. He's not valuable because he's selling drugs. He's valuable and he needs to stop. But how's he going to stop if I look at him and I pass judgment on him and I keep rolling? I have to take time. And I think that's key. If we take time with them, find out the things that are on their mind, give them an opportunity to share it, give them platforms to share it, you know, let them be extremely involved. We won't have a thing to worry about. And that makes all the difference to me.
That's so awesome, Pastor Pam. Because you know what, and what you said for me just rang out so key, because even when dealing with people who, just for the example you use, so somebody that's dealing drugs, number one, I applaud his honesty to say, hey, this is where I am, you know. And when someone is that honest, especially for people that are in the body, we owe that to them. When people are honest like that and say, this is my truth and this is where I am, we owe it to not judge them. You know, I believe that in every dope dealer, be it small or large, there is an entrepreneur. This sounds so crazy, but there is an entrepreneur, right? There is a finance person inside of there. There is a person that has these business skills. They probably are actually quite brilliant, but they're just using their brilliance in the wrong area. You know, so having that patience with them, continuing to pray for them and speak that good over them, that one day that they will refocus and apply the smarts that they're putting for the quick money. You know, that's 9 chances out of 10 quick, fast money that doesn't last. They'll take that smarts and intelligence into making money that has longevity. You can make the same amount of money doing other things, because you just have to apply yourself in a different way. So kudos to you for being able to see that in you, call it out, you know, and just kind of bring that to the forefront. It's more of what we need to do. That's awesome.
Love it, love it, love it. So talk to us, because you ask people everywhere you go, hey, what do you need? Right? We want to know from Pastor Pam as you are on this journey to become a representative of your district in this state of Missouri to affect even more change because you've already changed so much, but you want to affect even more change. What is it that you need, or how can we help you?
Well, as I said, I'm in district number 68. That's in North County. It covers a portion of unincorporated, a small portion of Blackjack, and then a larger portion of Florissant. So what I need is for people to go out, vote, look at that ballot, and familiarize yourself ahead of time with who the candidates are. You can call the Board of Election, and ask them, who are the candidates in my district? What is my district? They'll tell you what your district is. And if somebody's listening to the show and watching, and they may not live there, but they know that their relatives or their friends do, then tell your friends about it. Hey, there's a lady, she's rising up. She wants to help us. She has a track record of helping people, and let's see what we can do. The whole world is changing. Let's be for real. The world is in a fragile place, right? And so we know for sure that North County is changing. We see the shift. We see what's happening with the gentrification and all kinds of things. And so now it is, very important that we get the right people in the right place at the right time so that we don't have, so that we do have representation at the table. Like you said, oftentimes the representation at the table is not there, and we need to be represented 100%, but we need to be represented by people that are willing to help us rather than help themselves.
Yeah, and I love that. So I put in the comments, and I'll put this in the show notes as well. The various ways that you can donate to the campaign. There's a number that you can use. Zelle, which I absolutely love because there's no fees when you use Zelle, but you can also use PayPal and Cash App as well. So those things are in the comments. Michelle, any final thoughts before we let Pastor Pam get back to the campaign trail?
Well, Pastor Pam, I just want to say that, girl, I love you. And I tell you that, I had to tell you that off top. And I was serious. We just connected instantly. So I love what you're doing. And I love people who love people. And I, from the moment I met you, I'm like, she love people. And, so I just really, what can I personally do? We've had this conversation personally, but what can I do publicly to help you as well? What can the show do? What can I do personally? And I'm gonna need to get some more of that NorCam up off for you. NorCam Pam, I'm gonna need to get a little bit more from you. But just God bless you, and I want to play my part, whatever part God has for me to play in your journey. When you're on platform, whether it's, let me get you some water. Can I get you some coffee, Miss Paul? Can I get some? How can I serve you? Leaders need to be served so they can keep serving. So, I don't want to be busy, but I want to be impactful for you. So just let me know and then lean on me. Like, Shell, you said, how we do God, be like, Lord, you said, and God will keep me accountable and being accountable to you. But I just love your heart and your spirit. So that's my comments. God bless you. And just let me know what I can do. What can Brown do for you, girl?
Hey, let me say, anybody can go to the Facebook page, which is Citizens for Pamela Paul, right? And I need volunteers, period. And what do volunteers do? Volunteers can make phone calls to registered voters' homes, or they can help and knock on these doors and canvas, because I have about 5,000 doors that I have to hit, and you have to walk with your feet and hit all of those doors.
Security, I could be security. Except I don't do dogs. I don't know how effective I'm gonna be. Now I can do diamond, but I don't know how effective I'm gonna be in the community if they got dogs. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna watch the perimeter. I'm gonna pray. I gotta pray and watch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been listening to and learning from Pamela Paul, candidate for Missouri State Representative. We need people at those tables that are going to speak up for us and put initiatives out that will affect us in a positive way. But I love what you gave your definition of what a state representative does. You not only put forth new initiatives, you look backwards and address existing initiatives, laws, and bills that may be negatively impacting the community because maybe they were not done intentionally, but they've run their course, right? Some of those things just simply need to be updated and changed. Like in some states in this union, it is still illegal to marry outside of your race. That is something that is so foolish, but they don't have anybody going back to look at those things and say, hey, we need to just take this off the books altogether. So I'm glad that we have an advocate such as Pastor Pam that's going to be looking at those things for us. So get out and vote. Local elections matter, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to give you the final word, Pastor Pam.
Well, it is a huge opportunity to be able to serve others. That's what I would like for people to recognize, that when we are given a task to serve others, it's a great opportunity. Nobody has to want your help. They don't have to need your help. They could choose someone else to help them. So when they trust you enough to help them, that is a great blessing, you know. And I am a pastor. The word says, he who is greatest among you, let him serve. So if we want to be great in our community, we have to serve. Serve who? One another, wholeheartedly, fully, honestly, you know, and that means everything. And when we've done that, then we can lay back at the end of the day and Michelle A. and Cortez can say, hey, I put it out there. I gave it to them. I did my part. I got some more education to find out some more how I can level my thing. I've done the parts, you know, and once we've done that, then we can rest and feel complete. That's what it's about. I believe we all have purpose, period, and we should fulfill it. And so looking forward to doing that. And I want to see others do it. That's everything.
I love it. I love it. So at the end of the day, people, put in the work. What's the work? Service to other people. So we appreciate you guys all for tuning in. We appreciate Pastor Pam coming to share her mission and her journey and what she intends to do for the people and continue to do for the people. So that's going to do it for us. Until we talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. So hustle up.